What's good, homies? Welcome back to Grim. Today we're going to talk about some crazy YouTube news where literally just about an hour ago before making this video, we found out that a YouTuber with over 1 million subscribers was just forced to pay about $400,000 in damages because of an ongoing court case that we're going to talk about today. We're going to get into the nitty-gritty and kind of share my thoughts on this whole situation because this is just crazy for the landscape of YouTube. I feel like we're going to see a trend of YouTubers getting taken to court and taking L's, and it's just kind of like a discussion I feel like we need to have as we're moving into a dystopian hellscape in terms of social media, where, like I said, I feel like this could be happening a lot more. So make sure you watch until the very end of the video because this whole story is full of lies, deceit, pretty much every bad thing you could imagine. And honestly, it's a very muddy case. So what we're going to be talking about today is a YouTuber Karl Jobst, who many of you might have heard of. A lot of you probably will not know a single person in this story, and I don't blame you, but he makes videos on speedrunning / game achievements, I guess you could say. So speedrunning is basically playing a game as fast as you can, but that's not really the niche we're talking about today because he made a video on this man, Billy Mitchell, who, according to himself, talking from Billy's perspective here, was one of the greatest gamers back in the day. I mean, this dude was a boomer who was out playing in arcades before we really had a way to track highest scores. You know, there weren't forums where people were nerding out over this stuff. And he claims to have the world record Donkey Kong score, which he has been standing by for years. And Karl over here has made a series of videos. And when I say a series, I mean, this has been ongoing for I don't know how many years. I've been subscribed to this guy for a long time. Although I don't watch his videos all that often, I'll be honest, but I know he's been making videos about this case and this man for probably at least a half decade at this point. And you see, that got Karl into some hot water because he is now facing or has faced legal action against himself from Billy, who claims that he has defamed him. And a lot of people see this and they're like, oh man, we're talking about Billy Mitchell here. Like, this guy's the biggest tool on the planet, at least from what you see about this guy. Again, I don't know that much about him, but everything I have heard about him makes him seem like he's kind of the living embodiment of Tom Cruise's character in Tropic Thunder. I don't know. I just feel like people who box dye their hair black when it's clearly gray, like old people like that, they're just not to be trusted, all right? But anyways, I don't want to say too much because I mean, look at where this got Karl. But no, we're going to talk about why he got sued here and how the hell Billy was able to win, because at a glance you hear this story and you think, okay, guy cheated in a video game. How much can he really be defaming him here? And that's where we get into some seriously muddy water. So now I have to introduce a third character named Apollo Legend, who also, in the same vein as Karl, would make these videos about speedrunners and the like, or just video game achievements in general. And as a result of that, talked about a lot of people who cheated. He would make videos on Billy himself, and they both kind of honestly transformed into drama channels mixed in with the concept of video games. Again, I don't expect many of you to know of these channels. Apollo Legend was quite smaller. I think he has a few 100,000 subscribers. Nothing to scoff at, but not the level of Karl. But that is also because, sadly, half a decade ago, or I believe maybe 4 years ago, Apollo, after battling with mental health issues for his entire life apparently, decided to do something drastic. I'm sure you can extrapolate what I mean by that, and I'm very sorry I have to skirt around this topic, but it's obviously something very sensitive, and it's heartbreaking. I mean, that Apollo guy was trapped up in a lot of drama himself, don't get me wrong. You can look up, there's a lot of people that had some serious distaste for that dude, but nobody wants to see that be the final result of anybody's life. So anyways, the reason I talk about him is because around the time of him making that decision, he also was being sent to court by Billy, who was making claims that he was defaming him, I believe, in his videos, a very similar vein to what's going on with Karl right now, and the timing to Karl, at least, seemed a little suspect. So he started talking about in these videos, because again, you have to remember, these have been videos that are being uploaded pretty much at least monthly about Billy Mitchell here, kind of egging him on, you know? Like, yes, these videos are entertaining, and it's funny to laugh at the guy who has such an ego that he feels he needs to kind of fib about these game scores and ride by them so viciously in his later life. Like, I get why the videos were made, but this is where Karl really started to, I don't know, twist his idea of what was okay to say in these videos, and I think this is happening a lot to YouTubers. You get clicks from being inflammatory and hating on people and making this drama, and it's so addicting, especially when you see the effects for your wallet and just for your fan base, you know what I mean? It's profitable, I get it, but it's something that I've dealt with in my past. I feel like you reach this level where it becomes a really negative feedback loop, and that's exactly what happened to Karl here as he was making these videos and started to sprinkle in the idea or concept that, again, Apollo Legend made this heartbreaking decision, and he was kind of insinuating, or more than insinuating, according to this judge that just made this ruling, that Billy's lawsuit was a big reason, if not the only reason, that Apollo made that decision. Now, that is absolutely insane to say for many reasons, but for one, you're not in Apollo's Apollo's brain, so you don't know that, okay? He was making these claims that Apollo was having to pay all this money, and the guilt and shame and stress of that situation is what caused him to make this decision. Now, I'm not going to dwell on this too long because it's not really a topic I want to talk about at length, but as I mentioned before, Apollo had some very serious issues going on mentally that were chronicled over a long series of dramas and, falling out with friends in the same internet space for years before he decided to make that decision. And when he did make that decision, he did specifically name, shockingly, I really don't agree with this, certain people in the scene that, quote, pushed him to do this. Billy was never mentioned, all right? Also, it comes out in this court hearing, which I'm talking about a lot. This is what happened today, where the judge ruled that Karl lost and is going to have to pay these hundreds and thousands of dollars, which we're going to get to. According to the judge, that is what this entire ruling was about. A lot of people are like, dude, Billy won? Like, what the hell? The internet lost today. This better be an April Fool's. Like, of course it's insane to see this douchebag win, but you have to look at it from the angle of this isn't simply about the YouTube videos themselves defaming him from, being an elite gamer. No, it's because Karl was insinuating that this other creator that was in his space that made that decision, that very, very grim decision, he only did that because of Billy Mitchell taking him to court and taking all this money from him, which the judge in this video says that Karl even got in contact with Billy, who proved this was false. He did not take any money from him, and then also asked Apollo's sibling after the fact, which Apollo's sibling also said this was not about that. He didn't mention him for a reason. That was not really an element of why he made this decision. So even in the wake of that, Karl kept making these claims, and that is exactly why this decision was made today. It really sucks to see somebody who I still see as the villain, aka Billy, win in this. Trust me, I'm on that same bandwagon as everybody else on the internet right now who are like, oh, come on, how can this be? Like, this is such a fat L for YouTubers in general because it does set kind of a negative precedent. But also, I don't find myself thinking that many YouTubers are gonna be in this situation. I mean, you seriously have to follow a long line of corruption of your own mind to start making these super, super heinous claims against somebody. I mean, I don't care how much drama I would ever be in against Big Ed, let's say, who is probably my biggest op on my YouTube channel, of course. I've done the same thing where I've made a ton of content about him, but I hope you can all see that I've teetered a line where it's more about what I'm seeing in the show and him as a person and comments on his personality, which are all shown on the show, and not me claiming that he made somebody else make this terrible decision to end themselves or anything along those lines. Like, as soon as you muddy the waters like that, that's where you really start to lose some, ability to fight this in court. And this has been going on for God knows how long, so I don't know how much money Karl has invested into this court case, but I can tell you right now the results, which you're all wanting to hear. I'm sorry it took me so long to get through, but I had to, kind of tell you what the situation was beforehand so everybody understood. But thanks to this forum user, randomly-random67, who summed this all up, saying Karl is ordered to pay damages of $300,000 for non-economic loss and $50,000 for aggravated damages to Billy Mitchell. He must also pay interest at 3% per annum from the first date of publication to today, which comes to $34,668.50 for the non-economic loss and $5,778.08 for the aggravated damages. He must also pay the legal costs of proceedings if they don't seek an alternative cost order in 14 days. This brings the total damages to $390,446.58 plus Billy Mitchell's legal costs, which again could easily get into the hundreds, if not multiple hundreds of thousands, with how long this court case has been gone on. So talk about a seriously hard lesson to learn. I mean, I just have so many mixed feelings about this, and you guys can tell why. I know my retelling of this story is kind of scrambled, but I'm trying to get this video out with a speed so that you can really get my first thoughts on this, because this is insane to see a YouTuber lose in court like this and really honestly almost lose everything. I mean, I really wouldn't be surprised if this is about the same amount of money that he made from the videos on Billy, so hopefully he has something saved up there where he can pay this off. I couldn't imagine this is life-altering amounts of money to owe to somebody, especially somebody who still, like I said, is not the nice guy in the story. Now, it's also not clear if that's in Australian dollars or American dollars, but even if you convert it to American dollars, I believe that's still over $250,000 that he's going to be owing. And according to the judge, he felt it was actually valid to charge him for more for the aggravated damages portion, saying that these things that he was saying about Apollo Legends situation with Mitchell in all of his videos was actually such targeted harassment that the judge felt that it was a clear decision. These are not light things to be saying about somebody, and again, I feel like this is just such a tale of you becoming so obsessed and letting yourself go down the rabbit hole too much. I feel like it's hard to, check yourself as a YouTuber. I'm speaking from personal experience. When when your numbers are doing good, because that is your positive affirmation to keep going. Nobody else is telling you, hey dude, you're stepping into some muddy waters here, and if this guy sues you, you might be f***ed. So I'm sure he wasn't thinking about that. I mean, Karl still, to this day, was making videos about him, sounding super confident that he was gonna win, and now we can see that was just not the case. Also, I don't know about you guys, but you know they say, like, don't speak without your lawyer. I feel like it's just so foolish, even if you're a YouTuber and the lawsuit is about your channel, to keep talking about it on your channel, because all it does is give your opponent more information and more dirt against you. I mean, you're bound to say something stupid. We kind of just turn our mics on and start talking in this industry, and clearly that has really come back to bite Karl in the ass. So I want to know what you thought of this story down in the comments below. What did you think of this talkie video? I know it was kind of, random that I uploaded this, but I wanted to upload it in a timely manner because this is crazy precedent to be setting on YouTube right now. It's a scary time to be a hater or a commentator, I'll tell you that. But with that, I'll catch you guys in the next video, and until next time, peace out.